Today's topic of discussion will be endometrial cycle. So, what is endometrium? Endometrium is nothing but if you draw a picture of a ovary, this is the uterus. Okay, this uterus, it has got some muscle layer. Okay, so this muscle layer, it is also known as the myometrium. This inner surface of the ovary, that is, if I draw it using this black pen, this inner surface of the ovary, it is covered by a fine layer of squamous epithelium. That thing, this is known as the endometrium. Okay, so that goes your endometrium. Now all of you know endometrium. If you consider this ovary, this considered uterus, you will find that two fallopian tubes are there. They into femoral ends, and there will be ovaries. So what is the function of ovaries? They usually produce few different hormones. What are the hormones? Namely estrogen and progesterone. Also they are the generator site for ovums. Okay, so what happens? There are two different cyclical change occurs within the female reproductive cycles, female reproductive system. There are two different cyclical changes occurs. What are they? Number one, first change that occurs in the ovary. So what are those changes? Number one, initially there will be formation of estrogen only by the ovaries. Okay, after by this estrogen, as well as there are some stimulation from the hypothalamus as well as from the anterior pituitary. So there will be formation of GnRH, and that GnRH will lead to maturation of some Graafian follicles. So some ovum will mature, and after a few days, what will happen? There will be, due to positive feedback mechanism of this estrogen, there will be release of a large amount of luteinizing hormone, that is the LH, and that LH will lead to release of one mature ovum from the Graafian follicle, and that very Graafian follicle, it will turn into corpus callosum. So initial phase there will be presence of only estrogen from this ovaries. Then after LH surge, after ovulation, there will be formation of estrogen from this ovaries as well as progesterone from this matured Graafian follicle, that is the corpus luteum. Now what will happen? After a few days or so, this corpus callosum, it will start to regress, it will start to autolysis. Now if there is formation of gamete, that is, if there is ovum that fertilizes, if the ovum fertilizes, it will become a gamete, and if there is fertilization, that ovum will implant inside this uterus. Okay, and this implantation will lead to formation of placenta. So after the regression of corpus callosum, the progesterone level, that will not fall, because that placenta will start to produce more and more progesterone. But if that does not occur, that is, fertilization does not occur, what will happen? This corpus callosum will eventually regress, it will eventually die, and so there will be loss of progesterone support to all these genital tracts. Now this phenomenon goes by itself, and depending upon this very phenomenon, this endometrium, not only endometrium, cervix, cervix and vaginal canal, all of them goes through different cyclical changes. So today our main part of discussion will be endometrial cycle. Now just for your purposes, I will just give you an overview about what happens to the cervical canal. So what happens during initial phase, when there is high level of estrogen, there will be formation of mucus. Okay, so that very mucus will be very fine, very light, and there will be farning pattern. Okay, so what are the function of those mucus? They will form channel like things. Why those channel? Because if there is copulation, if there is deposition of sperm here, it has to ascend, has to go, and has to reach up to this ampulla where fertilization may occur. So they will form a channel for easy passage of the sperm. But if there is fertilization, or if there is decreased amount of estrogen and decreased amount of progesterone, that is for later stage, what will happen? This mucus present in the cervical canal, it will change and it will become thicker, so that further sperm penetration will not occur. Okay, and what will happen to the vaginal canal? Initially again there will be some vaginal secretions that will lubricate the vaginal path, and that will help in easy copulation, and there will be better penetration of the sperm. Okay, but with time, at the end of menstrual cycle, there will be dryness of the vagina due to reduced secretion. Now our today's main topic of discussion will be the endometrial cycle. So ovarian cycle we can subdivide into three parts. Initial part, when only estrogen present, no progesterone present. Then at the middle time there will be LH surge, there will be ovulation, and so again another phase will start when there will be high amount of estrogen and progesterone, both of them are present. And at the end, when the corpus callosum completely regresses, there will be completely stoppage or very minimal amount of estrogen and progesterone will be present in the system. So accordingly, this endometrium also changes. Okay, so endometrial cycle, it has got also three phases. Number one, the proliferative phase, that will correspond with the high level of estrogen. Number two, there will be a secretory phase. That secretory phase, that will correspond with the high level, when after post ovulation high level of estrogen and progesterone both are present, they will signify with that very thing. And finally, when both the actions, both estrogen and progesterone, both actions are lost, there will be menstrual phase. Okay, so that is the bleeding phase. So what happened? Okay, what happened here? First phase, it will be produced by a menstrual cycle. So there will be very thin amount of endometrium present. So initial phase, by the action of influence of estrogen, there will be increase in the stromal cell number, proliferation of the stromal cell, proliferation of the glands also. So what are the phases? Number one, that will be the proliferative phase. Number two, that will be the secretory phase. And number three, that will be the menstrual phase. So as I told you, proliferative phase, it is the initial phase, it is produced with a menstrual cycle. So there will be loss of endometrial tissue. So a very thin layer of endometrium will be present, and they will start to proliferate with the stimulation from the estrogen. So there will be increased number of the stromal cell, there will be increased number of the glands, and also there will be increase in the blood vessels. So blood vessels, they will become tortuous, they will penetrate all this endometrium, and the thickness will become about 4 to 5 millimeter. What about the secretory phase? So this estrogen unopposed action of estrogen will lead to increased proliferation, increased thickness of these cells. Then by the positive feedback, there will be LH surge and there will be ovulation. So corpus luteum will start to produce more and more amount of progesterone. So there will be changes. These newly formed stromal cells, they will become active as glands. They will start to accumulate a lot of, number one, they will start to accumulate a lot of proteins. Number two, they will start to accumulate lot of carbohydrates. There will be production of lot of nutrients. Okay, why? Because if there is some kind of, if there is fertilization, you have to provide the newly formed gametes environment which is nutritious enough to sustain its life. So these cells, these stromal cells, they start to proliferate, they start to store, and they start to prepare the uterus for conception. So initial phase, for initial, it takes about 3 to 4 days after fertilization the gamete to reach the uterine cavity. So after 3 to 4 days of ovulation, there will be formation of a kind of very nutritious secretion, that is known as uterine milk. Okay. So now this uterine milk, what it does, it will provide nutrition to a gamete if it reaches the uterine cavity. After that very time, that by that time that gamete will become the trophoblast, and that trophoblast or myoblast, whatever it is, they will seep through, they will erode this endometrial layer and they will go inside to implant. And that trophoblastic cell activity, they will take up, they will digest these glands, and they will provide abundant amount of nutrition to that very developing embryo. Okay. Now, so that goes about your second phase, that is the secretory phase. So if ovulation occurs, if there is gamete formation, there will be unopposed action of estrogen and progesterone, so it will continue to provide nutrition. So what happens if the fertilization does not occur? The endometrial body, it will go into the third phase, that is the menstrual phase. At the verge of secretory phase, this endometrial cell layer becomes about 6 to 8 millimeter thick. After that, now one interesting thing, if you consider this endometrium, these invading blood vessels, they are not straight. Okay, they are not straight like that, they are spiral like that. Okay, interesting thing, these blood vessels are not straight, they are spiral. So what will happen at the third phase? All these spiral blood vessels, they will start to go into vasospasm. So what will happen if we consider this? What will happen? Say this is the endometrium, this is the myometrium. From this myometrium, these spiral blood vessels will go and invade the endometrium. Now after some time, when the estrogen and progesterone, both of their action, it diminishes gradually, what will happen? These spiral blood vessels, they will go into vasospasm. Why they will go into vasospasm? Because there are presence of abundant amount of prostaglandins, and all of you know prostaglandins, they are typically spasmodic, they act as spasmos for the all kind of smooth muscles. So there will be vasospasm, there will be spasm of the endometrial, so there will be spasm of the myometrial smooth muscles, all of them. So this vasospasm will lead to seepage of blood from these ends. So there will be formation of plane of sheep blood. Okay, so this sheep blood plane, that will lead to separation of two layers, this surface endothelial layer, that is surface endometrial layer, and this deeper layer, there will be a barrier sheeped blood. Okay, and that will lead to avascular necrosis of the superior part. So what will happen after some time, say 2 to 3 days of stoppage of progesterone secretion, there will be a typical plane formation, and that plane will subdivide this endometrium into deeper viable part and superficial necrosed part. So after 2-3 days this superficial necrous part it will slough off, and there will be formation of different type of thing, that is blood, clot, and also this sloughed necrotic tissue. They will form a mass like thing, and that will get propelled by the vaginal pathway by the contraction of this myometrium in response to prostaglandins. Right. Now, this thing, all of these things, whatever I have told you, if we draw a picture, if we draw a diagram, how will that look like? So, in this is y axis and this is the x axis. Now, in x axis we are plotting the time, and in y axis we are plotting the thickness. So, what you will find at the initial phase, endometrial layer it will be very low, very small, okay. But gradually with the increase of estrogen challenge, with the increase of estrogen level, there will be increase in the endometrial thickness. Now, after the ovulation, say this is the ovulation, you will find that thickness has not increased much, but there is lot of secretory changes. So, this increased stromal cell becomes more and more secretory glandular cells, and eventually after a few days, okay, when the corpus luteum regresses, when the progesterone effect is lost, you will find that this cell very rapidly slough off, forming menstruation. So, this will be your proliferative phase, this will be your secretory phase, and this will be your menstrual phase. And again this another phase will start, there will be increase in the endometrial cell stroma. So, that will be another one proliferative phase, right. Now, there are few key things you should know for our practical purposes, right. So, all these bloods, all these clots, okay, whatever the things comes out, they are usually in liquid form. They does not clog the vaginal canal, or they does not clog the cervical canal. Why? Because there is presence of fibrinolysin. Now, this fibrinolysin keeps the clot diluted. So, there will be no clot formation inside the uterus, inside the ovary, or inside the vaginal canal, or inside the cervical canal. If you find clot, it is abnormal. Amount of blood, it should be about 40 to 80 ml. No more than 40 to 80 ml blood should be lost during the menstruation. So, what are the abnormal signs? Number 1, presence of clot. So, presence of clot, it does mean more amount of blood, more than normal amount, that is 40 to 80 ml, more than normal amount of blood are getting lost, okay. And that is why there is formation of clot, because physiologically present fibrinolysin cannot take care of all this amount of blood clots. Number 3, you may ask why there is no infection, because a broad area becomes sloughed. So, why there is no infection? This thing is known as leukorrhea of menstruation. What happens during menstruation? From those sloughed tissue, there is lot of seepage of lot of blood. Along with that, there is seepage of a lot of white blood cells. Those white blood cells works as the defense barrier to prevent any kind of infection. And that white blood cells sometimes become so huge in number, they lead to formation of white colored discharge during or just after menstruation. So, that thing, it is known as leukorrhea of menstruation. Now, for our practical purposes, we should learn about a few terms. What are they? Number 1, menarche. Okay, let us wipe this up. we should learn number 1 menarche. So what is menarche? Menarche means initiation of menstruation. Menarche usually in case of Indian girls, menarche usually occurs at the age of 10 to 12 years. If it is more than 16 years, if menarche occurs more than 16 years, it will be known as late menarche, and if up to 18 years one female does not menstruate, you must have to evaluate that very person. So what is menarche? That is the initiation of menstruation. Number 2, menopause. So what is menopause? Menopause means permanent stoppage of menstruation. It occurs usually for Indian females, it occurs about 40 to 45 years of age. If menopause occurs prematurely, it is known as premature menopause. That is, if it occurs below 40 years, it is known as premature menopause. Okay. Number 3, we have to know the term that is known as menorrhagia. Sorry. So what is menorrhagia? I have already told normal amount of blood secretion should be 40 to 80 ml. So if blood secretion is more than 80 ml, more than 90 ml, that is known as menorrhagia. So earliest sign of menorrhagia, that is heavy menstruation, is presence of clot. I already told you why presence of clot is significant sign for menorrhagia. Number 4, that is metrorrhagia. What is metrorrhagia? So what is metrorrhagia? Metrorrhagia means presence of abnormal bleeding in between 2 periods. So bleeding is also known as this menstruation, it's also sometimes known as periods. So during normal menstrual cycles, if there is bleeding in between this normal menstrual cycle, that is known as metrorrhagia. Number 5, that is dysmenorrhea. So what is dysmenorrhea? It is the painful menstruation. Okay, as I have told already, menstruation should be painless. So if there is presence of pain, if there is severe pain during menstruation, that is also known as dysmenorrhea. Okay, so this concludes our class today. If you have got any question, feel free to contact me. You can get my number from Dr. Roy.